Hello, Collective. Wendy Joy, Love and Light. On my quest for knowledge and wisdom, to continue my search for inner development, for resonance and remembrance, if you will, from the energy that is presented to me through the questions that I never thought I'd ask, but found myself asking, and the list is long and it keeps getting longer. But through the insights that I've gained through my quest, my journey for answers, I've discovered that there's a whole lot that we were really never told, that we were never really taught as a child, or concerning religion or the earth or its origins or the energy that the earth itself embraces, even our own personal energy. No one ever told me that I had chakras. No one ever told me that I had, the ability to do X, Y, and Z. They just looked at me and told me that I was evil, or I was, rambunctious, or I was too overactive in my imagination, or that, children should be seen and not heard. That's what I got told growing up. And I quickly realized that when people don't know the answer, or they were never presented with the question, whether they did self-search or not, right, that they didn't know how to respond to the answer, so they just went to a defense mechanism, which is low energy. And without even realizing it, they, took a stance in a position that they probably didn't even want to hold. But if they were taught about energy, and if they were taught about vibration, then maybe it would have been easier for me personally growing up, because I was able to see things that other people couldn't. I was always the one, asking questions and, not telling stories per se, like from my imagination, but I was still young enough to remember the cosmos. When you're a child, your connection to the divine is still very close, because you haven't yet been trampled on, so to speak, by life in general, where, it suppresses you down and tells you about what you can and cannot do and blah-de-da-da. But maybe that was a design too, I don't know. And maybe that was something that we had to, as a people, evolve and grow past. But the way I see it, there's not really any good way to evolve and grow past the misaligned lessons that maybe we could have been, taught as youngsters, right? Inadvertently, without harm or hurt or hinder being, intended, because they didn't know better either. Because this has been going on since before, the Americas became the Americas, right? This has been going on well before, where decades, thousands of years, actually hundreds of thousands of years, knowledge has been suppressed. And that's because there's been a great amount of fear of losing control, of domination, because at one point in time, our society of people degressed from a higher consciousness state of being to where we are today, a lower sense of consciousness, of forgetting, if you will, of what it was that we once were. And the road to receiving that knowledge again is the spiritual journey. And people can say a lot of different things, because there's a lot of different opinions across the line. concerning what happened first and who did what and why and where and when. But the one thing that I can say is that if we embrace the basic value of way back of yesterday, right, and we bring that into today, we can honestly say that if you think about your neighbor just as much as you think about yourself, metaphorically or figuratively, theoretically or not, right? No matter how you look at the next person over, do you hold the same value of that person as you do yourself? And how do you value yourself? What do you see when you look in the mirror? Are you happy and content? No one is all the time. But when bad things come your way, are you able to recognize that they're not there to hurt you, that they're there to show you what it was that maybe you wanted to learn, to grow from? And did it ever occur to anyone that maybe we all picked today, this time, this era, to be active in, right, alive in, to save future humanity? Because we are walking into a brand new 10-year cycle or 9-year cycle, right? And it started in January, some people say, and other people will tell you that it will start Chinese first sign of the zodiac, which is mid-February, or others will tell you that it definitely takes full run in spring equinox, when life is in rebirth and regrowth season. Whichever theory you want to look at, the one thing that I can tell you is that in my insight of why the push, will say, with seeding the atmosphere and making everybody believe that automated technology is the best way to go, that you don't need to go to school, that you could just ask a machine and a machine will give you the answer, and that you could be, mentally dumb and you can only retain what you remember, and, don't look up because it's raining poison on you, and don't look down because your food is being contaminated, and you just hang out in the middle in this virtual kind of life, and if you wither young and fade away sooner, well, that's okay, because your cardinal lust will keep the population going. Right. No. No, 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 no. Please no. Absolutely no. Because if you don't want to take that into the next 9 years, then you need to do something about that, like yesterday. Today is an excellent opportunity to gain traction, right? So excited, I'm stepping on my words, and I apologize for that. But we all need to band together, and we all need to raise our vibration. We all need to understand that there are billions of light essences, just like you and me, that inhabit this planet. There's maybe less than 100, and that's a liberal number, right? So we'll say less than 200, because I don't know what 1% is, okay? Well, I guess I kind of do. But what I am saying is that we outnumber them. And I'm not saying that, erase them, because no one needs to be erased. What I'm saying is that if we stand together and we realize and recognize our worth as humans, having an earth experience, as a form of light essence, that this planet was created in order to elevate, not descend, and that we weren't created to be killed or to be labeled a trans-American, or a trans person, rather, a trans person. I don't know what that is. I just know I'm not it. I'm a light essence in a human body, experiencing life and learning and growing and developing my senses and sharing them with everyone, everywhere. I've been doing this since I've been born, since I can remember. Not everybody has this mission, but the mission I am asking you to uptake, to hold, to embrace, and to put major movement and positive effort into is positivity, love, and light, where you consider your neighbor at the same level that you consider you. And I consider both you and your neighbor as I consider myself extremely worthy, just as magnificently impressive and important and needed as the planet we live on. So everybody who's sitting back saying, I'll just let the front row take care of it, you need to stand up. You need to, add love, add a higher frequency to your existence. And that will help raise the frequency of the planet and help everyone on the front line gain a greater, deeper, more potent step in pushing the resistance, that small little group, backwards, back where they came from, back into their own dimension. It's not our fault that they can't sustain, or their whatever isn't giving them the life that they choose that they need to live. This is our planet, not theirs. And we have more power than they do. We actually have divinity. They don't. So they can't create, but we can. So don't create the chaos that they want in order to live. Stand up and create love and peace and joy, and start within your own self, and then spread it to everyone around you, and then go further outside of your immediate environment into your neighborhood, your community. Wherever you go, bring the joy of interconnectivity, unity, and a better future on a higher vibration with you. And you'll be doing your part. You'll be helping. Just as if you were actually on the front line heading the resistance. So don't say that there's no room for you to play, because there always is. There's always a space on my team for compassion, for love, for unity, for interconnectivity, for positive forward motion, for spiritual evolution and personal development. It takes one step, and then one step, right? One foot, then follow the other. How does that song go? Put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking straight through the door. Hi. Bring humor. It also raises your vibration. And I'm very grateful that I was able to alchemize, switch and turn whatever low, dense energy was infiltrating or trying to bother me through my headache, my neck ache, whatever, that I was able to accept it, understand its value, and send it away. Because once I accepted the value, I didn't need it anymore. You could go. And I feel so much better now. Although, just like transformation and change, nothing happens immediately. It did take me a few hours. But that's a positive thought. If it took me a few hours to flip how I felt around, like the low energy and, yuckiness within my temple, then that means that it shouldn't take us as a collective that long at all to be able to stand up tall and put our vibration high, loving, and light-filled for all. Thank you. Thank you for doing your part. Thank you for believing, for loving, for walking in compassion, and understanding your true worth. Thank you for blessing me with yet another reason that I could share my insights with you. Because positive stories, they're always more uplifting than negative ones. But whatever story you have, I'll be more than happy to help you finish the writing of. So wherever you are today, I can help you finish your final chapters where transformation, change, love and light prevail. And not just within you, but everywhere. Thank you. Thank you.